Hi everyone, welcome back to the next diecast. In today's video, I'll be unboxing and reviewing this 1/24th scale Aston Martin DBS Superleggera made by Welly. I got this model from Amazon Warehouse Deals for $19. And as many of you know, with Amazon Warehouse Deals items, you often get items that might have damaged packaging or were maybe like returned at some point. In this case here, it is kind of a slightly damaged box, but the model itself seems okay. That's just, I think, some residue up there on the roof of the model. But I think the regular price of this particular model is around like $23, $24. Because Welly 1/24 scale models are generally a few dollars more than like Barago and Maisto models. And I think that's for good reason too. Because I think Welly models in general, at least as far as 1/24 scale models go, are, I think, better detailed than other kind of budget brands. So as you can see, it's in the kind of current style of box that Welly has been using. The next series, a new exploration of models, even though they've kind of had that line for over a decade now with this next model series. So I guess it's not really considered a new exploration of models anymore, but I guess they're just going to kind of keep that motto or phrase, I suppose. But kind of a cool looking green box, and you have the Welly name down there, and then the name of the car kind of stuck on the window of the front of the box here too. Then you have some more stuff on the side there. Die-cast metal scale model. Just some basic stuff back here. And then down there you have all the different licensees and a diagram of the opening parts of this car. Now this one actually has an opening trunk as opposed to an opening hood, which is unusual, but still pretty cool. So we'll get this Aston Martin out of the box here. This is the dark red version with the black wheels. A very cool looking car. I think this is based off like a 2019 or a 2020 model, so pretty cool. We'll get this out of the box. We'll just cut that little part off there, and then we'll get it out. All right, open up the side. Look at that front end. It looks super cool. It is going to be pretty dusty. Yeah, look at that dust on there. Oh, well, not a big deal. As you can see here, it is on its base, I suppose. Actually has working steering too. Cool. We'll go ahead and get this model unscrewed from the bottom here. Looks like we got 2 screws, so we'll get those removed next. All right, here's a very dusty model out of the box. Looks like there's a single strap holding shut. Yeah, there's the opening trunk. But there's a strap holding shut the doors on here. And that was actually just dust on the roof. You can see it just came off. So I'm glad that wasn't like a scrape or anything. So we'll pull off this tape next. All right, let's pull that out. All right, there's the DBS out of the box with its strap off. Looks like a fantastic model. I love the paint on here. And then, of course, you do have the opening doors and then the opening rear trunk like that. All right, now on to the review. All right, let's take a closer look at this Aston Martin DBS Superleggera made by Welly. So this model currently comes in a few different colors. You, of course, get this really awesome dark metallic red with the black wheels and black roof. It also comes in white with the same wheels and roof color, a blue, as well as a gray. And you can find these online usually for between maybe $20 and $30. A little bit on the higher side for 1/24 scale models. You can find it occasionally for under $20. Like if you happen to find it maybe at CVS or Walgreens in their kind of 1/24 scale die-cast kiosk. Or in this case, I found mine from Amazon Warehouse Deals for around $19. I think overall this is a pretty good model of the DBS Superleggera. And I think Welly models in general in 1/24 scale tend to be some of the best budget models you can find in that particular scale. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the details of the model. So to start, I think Welly did an excellent job capturing the overall shape and look of this car. The real-life DBS Superleggera is a really cool looking car. It's based off the Aston Martin DB11 Coupe, with, of course, a different front end and different like rear end. But I think the overall, I guess, profile and stuff of both cars is pretty similar. And now MotorMax makes the DB11 in 1/24 scale, but I don't think it's going to be really that good in terms of quality. So I definitely recommend getting Welly's DBS Superleggera over that one. But in the front here, you will see that they do an excellent job with these headlights. You have that nice kind of LED pattern kind of going around the perimeter. And the lenses are actually nice and flush with the metal portions of the body. And you have nice molded bulbs in the center there as well. In the center here, you do see this kind of nicely patterned grille. It's not actually perforated mesh, but at least they do a good job of capturing just the look and shape of it as a whole. Then you have the small Aston Martin badge up here on the hood, which looks very well done. Then you have the very small Superleggera inscription on either side of the hood next to these vents on the hood. And the lower bumper is actually die-cast metal. Of course, all the black is made of plastic, but I do like how they kind of have like minimal plastic on this car's body. Of course, the roof is actually plastic, but you wouldn't really know that unless you pick up the car. I think the paint quality on the model is fantastic. This dark metallic red just looks amazing, I think, on Aston Martin cars in general. And Welly does an excellent job, I think, of capturing this particular paint color. And it is a metallic finish, very shiny, very smooth. No, defects or orange peel like you would see on some other budget models. So that's just fantastic to see that. On the side, they do an excellent job with these wheels. They are kind of the black pattern. And you actually have disc brakes that move through the calipers, which is very rare to see on 1/24 scale cars. I'm glad that Welly is kind of doing that. And you also get steering too. I think Welly's the only manufacturer, or the only budget manufacturer of 1/24 scale cars that does steering. I think some Motor Maxes might still have that feature, but aside from that, you're only going to find steering on Welly models. And that's just very cool. And they also do a good job with like the different spokes and stuff on these wheels as well. Very cool to see. Very sturdy side mirrors done in kind of a matte black plastic. They're a bit on like the bendy side, which is kind of odd. I wish they maybe done like a harder plastic material, but at least they're, the right shape and everything, and they're not going to be, breaking off. Then you have these little vents on the sides of the car as well with the DBS badging. All the badging is just very well done. Kind of as well done as you would see on like a 1/18 scale model. So that's just fantastic. Gloss black roof, which looks very cool paired up with this dark red. And back here you do have the Aston Martin inscription on the trunk lid. And then you have these taillights back here as well, which are kind of very narrow sort of slits. Some manufacturers would probably paint these on, but Welly actually does them as separately casted plastic pieces. So that's really cool to see that. And then down here, not much to really see in terms of detail. It's just kind of black plastic. Then you have the exhaust pipes kind of set back in there. I'm guessing on the real car they wouldn't be painted black like that, but at least Welly does a good job with capturing the shape of them. Now, in terms of opening features on the model, you do have the opening rear trunk, which is kind of odd that Welly chose to do the trunk instead of the hood. But a lot of budget 1/24 scale models made recently will only have opening doors, if they even have like opening features. So I do like how you have the opening trunk and the opening doors on this particular model. So not a whole lot to see in here. It's a very small trunk, both on the real car and in this model here. You have kind of a pattern down there, sort of like these slats. I guess the real trunk pan would have that kind of similar pattern. I think the trunk should go back a slight bit further, but they kind of put this plastic block here to occupy the hinges for the trunk. It doesn't open up that wide, so you can't really see too much in there in the first place, but kind of cool that Welly did decide to put an opening trunk on this model, seeing that it is a 1/24 scale model. And the hinges are very strong on the trunk, which is nice to see. And of course, you also have opening doors too, which open up like so. They open up on spring-loaded hinges, and they are actually pretty strong, which is nice to see. Decent detailing on the interior here. It is pretty much just one single plastic texture. That's kind of a slight drawback of Welly models, is that they'll have pretty good fine detailing on their interiors, but they'll just have a single kind of texture or pattern of plastic. Meanwhile, for other brands such as Maisto, you might have an all-black interior like this, but you'll have several different patterns. You'll have like kind of a smooth pattern for the seats, kind of like a leather-like pattern for the dashboard, and maybe a rough pattern for the floors. Welly usually does a single texture of plastic, which is kind of odd, but I mean, aside from that, they do kind of make up for that with the finer details of their models. Now, seeing that we are looking at a 1/24 scale car here, you're not going to have a ton of kind of finer detailing, but I think what is there, Welly does a decent job with. So, decent detailing in the center stack here. I wish the screen maybe had something on it, but it is the right overall shape and stuff. And you do have some button molding going on, as well as these two AC vents in the center here below the screen. That would be accurate to the real car. Of course, you would have colored in buttons if this were the real car, but Welly kind of leaves all those as kind of just blank black plastic buttons. And the steering wheel, I think, is fairly well done. It has the right overall shape and look to it. I wish they had an Aston Martin badge on there. That would have added to the detail a bit, but you don't really see that, unfortunately. You do get gauges, though, with stickers on them. At least they do that. And the vents are nicely molded as well, as you can see here. But yeah, there's just kind of one single texture of plastic in here. I've definitely seen some better detailed Welly interiors, but again, this is a 1/24th scale model, so you're not going to get a whole lot in that sense. And you have decent detailing on the door panels as well. They do have a nice texture to them, and you can kind of see the molded in door handles and these lower pockets on here as well. These seats are also well done. They have a nice look to them. They actually say DBS on them as well. They're kind of molded into the plastic, which is a cool touch. And then you have kind of this line pattern going on in the centers of the seats. And of course, you do have a rear seat as well, which is kind of hard to see with these windows and everything, but that is accurate to the real DBS Superleggera. So I think as a whole, Welly does a good job with this model of the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera. I think definitely some more finer detailing would have been welcome with the interior, but as far as the exterior goes, this model looks fantastic. And if you like collecting models of modern Aston Martins or just modern supercars in general in 1/24 scale, this would be an excellent addition to your collection. I think the prices are a little bit high for this. Like $25 is a little bit, I think, high for a 1/24 scale car. But seeing that this is, I think, better detailed than other kind of budget models of 1/24 scale cars, this is, I think, a good buy. And I think compared to other Welly models in 1/24 scale, this one definitely holds up quite well, especially seeing the excellent paint quality and just the overall fine detailing you see on the exterior of the model. So I hope this was kind of a helpful overview of this car, and feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.